And heading to Martinsville, obviously, you talked about being 7 points below the cut line, but you got 4 poles there, including in the spring, and you won there a couple of years ago. That must have give you a lot of confidence heading there for a chance to not just to win, but have a decent enough run to point your way in.
Sure. I mean, I have a lot more confidence than I would have had there 5 years ago. Being this close to the cutoff, I feel like since joining Hendrick, it's actually been one of my better tracks. Maybe not for points scored, but you know, finish wise, we've won. We've finished second a couple times, maybe finished in the top five, maybe one or other two times, and yeah. So I have confidence going there, but I just haven't had like dominating speed there, and I think my car is still much better than I am there, but where guys like Denny, Blaney lately, Chase, even and William, they've had dominating speed, and those are all the guys that I'm going up against. So, I think we'll have a good car, a great car, and we'll have a good shot. It's just it's a tough place, and it's not a place that's ever really been comfortable for me, even with the success that we've had. It's a tough, really tough track for me.
Hey, also in the Martinsville race in the spring, I know you started on the pole, led won the first stage, led the first 80 laps, restarted second for the second stage when Logano took two tires, started on the outside. And I'm curious, can you talk to me about the difficulty of restarting on the outside, and then you fell back to fourth, and just how was that a key point in that in the spring race, in essence, losing a bit of control of the race at that point?
Yeah, I don't remember the race that much yet. I haven't watched it back, but um yeah, I mean it is yeah, it's a tough place sometimes to start on the outside, especially for a guy like me who's not that comfortable at Martinsville. I seem to struggle, I feel like, there on restarts. Um but yeah, regardless, I think, when you get stuck on the outside, you're pushing your tires harder, and it just compounds the rest of the run for you. So, yeah, it is nice for me. I've had more success of getting into a rhythm if I can just tuck in line and kind of gap myself, let guys kind of run off away from me, and I can kind of pace my run and pace my tires, and then I'm okay at the end of the runs. So yeah, I'm just assuming that run I probably had to push a little bit harder, and maybe, yeah, just lost some ground, and then it's really hard to pass at Martinsville in the next gen cars. So we'll see if it's any different this weekend with a different tire compound. But regardless, every short track's been really hard to pass on in next gen cars.
Hey Kyle, you've mentioned your turnaround at Martinsville since you've been with Hendrick. I think even in your early days at Hendrick, you went as far as to call Martinsville your worst track. What have you kind of learned since over the years that are some of the keys to being fast at Martinsville, and how have you gotten better?
Um, yeah, I mean it's a fair question. I don't really have a great answer for that. Um, I just think Hendrick Motorsports has really good cars there at Martinsville. They have a great package, a great balance for that track. I'm sure my driving style has changed over the years. Obviously having more data and stuff to look at these days, I think I'm probably definitely a much better driver than I was there the first few seasons that I went to Martinsville. But um, I think more than anything, just being with a great team and having, a great crew chief and engineers set up my race car and all that, I think helps more than anything. So, yeah, like I said a couple times, I think the car is still much better than I am. But yeah, we've been able to do a really good job there over the last 3.5 seasons, and yeah, it's probably, I think Vegas might be my, on average finish, probably my best track, but I would say Martinsville is a close second, if not maybe first. So it's kind of weird.
I know a lot of people from the outside looking in would say, 7 points below the cut line, that's not too difficult given stage points and everything else that factors into that for you to point your way into the Champ 4. But when you consider the realistic possibility of guys who are below you that could win and bump you right back below that cut line, how do you balance points racing versus racing for that win Sunday? And is that something that you'll actively think about, or is that something you lean more on Cliff as far as which way you guys need to play that?
Yeah, I mean, I think for me, I'm just gonna try to execute, you know, my my job the best that I can, and not, make mistakes and keep ourselves in the hunt. I'm confident that our pit crew is gonna do a great job, and I don't think there's many other teams that do as good of a job as we do with pit strategy. So, um, yeah, I think I've got a great team that can execute on all those areas. But yeah, as you mentioned, I think, yeah, it's tough because, yeah, you know, you look at all the guys that are left in the playoffs. Like, I feel like the two teams that probably would have the least chance of winning at Martinsville have already won in the round of 8. So yeah, it comes down to Bell, William, Chase, Denny, and myself. I think I'm forgetting maybe one other person, but everybody that's left in the round of 8 is really good at Martinsville, and probably going to be one of the. I would say it's one of those 6 that are going to win the race. So it almost makes it feel like it's a must win in a lot of ways. But yeah, we'll see. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be exciting. I think the fans will be in for a treat, and it's definitely gonna come down to the end like it always does. So hopefully we're a part of that group that's fighting for the win, and or at least fighting for a great points day, and see how it all plays out.
Hey, Kyle, appreciate the time. I'm wondering with Martinsville, do you guys put a more of a premium on qualifying here than elsewhere because track position is so important? And kind of looking back last year to William, where he didn't qualify well, and then really just kind of set him back the entire weekend, and it was a struggle from there.
Well, he also qualified really bad in the spring, and he won the race. But yeah, I mean, I think connection racing qualifying is ultra important everywhere. So I wouldn't say that we put more of an emphasis on Martinsville than other places. I think every track you want to qualify good at, and I think we have the best qualifying average throughout all the racetracks of this year. So yeah, hopefully we can keep it up. I would much rather qualify good this weekend than not. I think, especially being in our position to have the opportunity to point our way in, you want to start up front and hopefully get stage points, good stage points in both of the stages. So yeah, we'll see. Yeah, I don't know. I just yeah, you want to qualify good for sure.